You don't deserve to be taken for granted. I have to whisper or at least keep my voice in a softer tone because my family is all asleep, and the last thing I want is for either my mom or dad marching upstairs and telling me to be quiet. But I can edit the audio to raise my voice so you don't have to be cranking up your volume. A few weeks ago, I sent someone a super sweet message and then I got left unopened. And that was the final straw, which prompted the idea for this video. But then I was like, well, I don't want them to see this and then feel bad. Then I started giving them the benefit of the doubt and put this video idea on the back burner. However, only a week later, I found out I was blatantly lied to. And I was like, no, okay, it's time to get going with it. And after that, I was blocked. So that only fueled the fire even more. So I'm not going to burn any bridges, but I am going to say everything that I have been suppressing for over the past month. Hi sunshines, welcome back to my channel. My name is Avery and I am your spicy and savage Christian ENTJ internet bestie, and I'm on the mission to help you become the happiest, highest, holiest, healthiest, and hottest version of yourself. So if that sounds like something you're into, then stick with me. And now, without further ado, let's get into it. First thing I'll say is to stop being considerate when you aren't being considered. Like how I said at the intro of the video, I was concerned about not even posting a video like this because I didn't want to hurt the other person's feelings. They clearly had no problem disrespecting my feelings, so why am I going out of my way to protect theirs? It's one of my favorite quotes because it reminds me to have a backbone, not bend over for other people, and be super nice, especially after I have treated them with nothing but kindness, love, and support in the past, and really helped me to embody and step into my villain era, which is my personal theme for the year. Stop going above and beyond for people who don't appreciate it. I saw this quote last year. I don't remember the exact phrasing, but it talked about how people may want those exact things, but they don't want it from you, which is why they don't appreciate it. It is so true. If you're not the person that they want it from, it doesn't matter what you do. If you could serve it on a silver platter, bend over backwards, and give them 10x whatever they ask for, they still won't care enough to value whatever it is you're doing for them because they wanted to receive that thing from somebody else. Like, for example, I could be the best McDonald's cheeseburger, but if that person is craving a Burger King cheeseburger, no matter how good my McDonald's cheeseburger is, they're not going to want it because they're craving Burger King. You also can't force people to see your value. You loving them even harder is not going to make them all of a sudden have their scales fall off their eyes and make them recognize how wonderful and amazing you are and how much effort you're in love and attention and care that you're pouring into them. That's not how it works. You could be going the extra mile and they still won't recognize how special you are and what your rarity is because it is up to them to realize how lucky they are to have you. You can't perform for their validation. They need to stumble into or make that decision on their own. If they can't see your value now, then nothing is going to change that. If they wanted to, they would. People don't like being chased. Imagine a bear was chasing after you. You were in the woods and for whatever reason, there was a bear chasing you. If a bear was chasing you, would you run to the bear and give it a hug and say, "Come here, I love you so much"? Absolutely the heck not. You would be mad dashing away. You'd be booking it. You'd book it because you'd be fearing for your lives. When you are being chased by something, there is this biological instinct of fear that rises up within you, which causes you to run because of your primal biology. When you overextend yourself for people who don't have the capacity to receive it or who aren't used to it, they're going to naturally withdraw from you and pull themselves away because it's overbearing and overwhelming for them. You are triggering their nervous system and their attachment style that has been wounded. You are reminding them of their past, even though it is within their mind and their body and they aren't able to recognize it. If you are a naturally giving and loving person, people who aren't used to that will think that there is something wrong with you and will think that you want to take advantage of them or that you're love bombing them. The point is, they won't think it's natural or normal, and as a result, they'll be freaked out by it, which can result to you feeling taken advantage of or taken for granted. Also, I love psychology. I am such a psychology girly, especially when it comes to anything that deals with personality typing. So something that, of course, I would be into is attachment styles. And this has a huge role that comes into play. So there's two main attachment styles that I want to talk about that have this toxic, fiery relationship. So there's the anxious attachment style, and people with the anxious attachment style, they're more likely to be super clingy, overprotective, constantly seeking validation, and they're performing masculine energy, constantly doing and chasing. And on the other hand, you have the opposite, which is the avoidant attachment style. And some of the people that have inspired this video are avoidants. But avoidants, they are people who are naturally closed off. They have walls to protect themselves. They aren't open to trusting people as easily. When people start giving them too much love, they pull away and withdraw because they aren't used to receiving it. They hold other people at an arm's length. They aren't used to being treated with love and respect and care. Avoidants also need a lot of space and independence. So when you pair an avoidant and an anxious together, oh my gosh, it is a bloodbath, because the person with the anxious attachment style is reinforced when the avoidant is pulling away and withdrawing out of this person being too clingy and needy. On the other hand, the avoidant person's attachment style is being reinforced because they are recognizing that, oh my gosh, everybody is so clingy. I need to withdraw, protect my energy, conserve it, and keep more to myself. And therefore, it is this fierce push and pull dynamic that is the result of most failed and toxic relationships. Before healing my attachment style, I was disorganized, although I was slightly more on the anxious side. And when I feel unappreciated or am interacting with avoidance, that anxious side, it rears its ugly head. And therefore, that cycle repeats itself where I am searching for more of that validation, that those people still like me and value me. Meanwhile, the other people, they're like, Avery's doing too much. What the heck? I can't handle this. Let me withdraw and pull away and rescind my energy. I'm gonna keep it real because I value transparency. Something that I have struggled with is covert contracts. Like, what am I supposed to expect after doing something for someone? Like, I don't want or even require Sheldon Cooper type reciprocity, but is even wanting to receive or hear thank you from somebody, is that a covert contract? Several weeks ago, I Googled covert contracts and I wanted to see what it was and if I fit into it. And I saw that one of the results of establishing those is feeling unappreciated, which is true, but simultaneously, I'm not buying people things or doing these kind acts for them to receive the thank you, although at the same time, I can't wait to hear how much whatever I did or said to them meant to them and how much they cared about it. And 3 out of the 4 times I took hours to write these people letters describing everything I thought of them, how much they meant to me, favorite memories together, etc. And these were pages with pages stapled, by the way. I didn't receive even a thank you. One of the times, however, somebody close to one of those people messaged me later that day and said, thank you so much, that they really appreciated what I wrote for them, that it was really touching, and that made my day though, honestly. About a month ago on my Snapchat stories, I talked about karmic lessons. I briefly brought it up and I said that when the time was right, I would touch more on base with it, with what my karmic lesson is, and now is that right time. So my karmic lesson is is learning how to not be overly generous to people or overextending myself for them when it is not necessary. So ever since elementary school, I've struggled with fitting in and making friends, and I had no idea why. So I would subconsciously start to fight for their approval and acceptance by buying them gifts or fitting into the mold or standard that they wanted me to be in, like conforming, like very much of what Enneagram 3s do, like becoming a chameleon to match the vibes and expectations of those around them. That's what I did. I was very much a people pleaser just because I wanted to have friends. I wanted to feel that acceptance and validation, and it became even more of a problem in middle school. It got so bad to the point where it broke my dad's trust because I was just seeking to fit in, especially when it came to the popular girl cliques. That was my dream ever since reading books like the Dork Diaries, was to be one of the popular cool girls who was well known, well liked, and at the top of the food chain or social hierarchy. I would adapt my personality and things that I liked to match whoever I thought had the most status was. I bought people gifts, I gave people a bunch of gum, and I even brought gum just to give it to them, like, you know, like that type thing. And just anything for me to feel seen, because I wasn't receiving that kind of connection elsewhere. Although, thank goodness, in my the early part of my junior year of high school is when I started my personal development journey and I grew out of it. Thank God. But since then, that same karmic lesson, because I haven't gotten to the root of it, it still has been reappearing in my life, but in a different ways now. It's still have the same problem with loving others too much and wanting to do too much for them, but it comes from a different place. Before, it was out of a need to people please and feel accepted, but now, or at least then, I'd say now still, I'm still working through things. Now it's been more about, I love this person so much, I have strong feelings for them, I really care about them, I want to let them know how much they mean to me. So my love language is also gift giving, so then I end up spoiling them, and then when I don't hear it, it's like, oh my gosh, wow, Avery, thank you so much, this meant so much to me, and then giving like specifics, or even just hearing a thank you, yada yada yada, that triggers those old wounds. Because with karmic lessons, you will keep learning them, or God will keep bringing those lessons to you, but in different fonts, meaning with different situations, places, or people, until you learn that lesson. And not learn as, oh, logically I know what's going on, because that's me at the moment. But when you break that pattern and you start making different decisions, it's kind of like psychological repentance. With karmic lessons, you will have two choices: repeat or evolve. Also, I'm not really into the Enneagram much anymore because I learned the origin behind it. I still bring it up every once in a while though, because I wouldn't say quite the expert, but I do have substantial knowledge about it. I scored Enneagram 3, but with a heavy wing 2. And the first time I took the Myers-Briggs test, I was typed as the ESFJ, and both Enneagram 2s and ESFJs are known for always being there for other people, being helpful and kind, being somebody that others can easily rely and depend on. You're there for comfort, care, and support. So it is embedded into my personality, but it also stems from my past of as being seen as not enough, and I had no idea why, but now I do, thank goodness. And like, even though nobody asked me to do all those things for them or to write them that kind, thoughtful, heartfelt message, whatever the case is, I think a simple thank you should be a given because it's polite in its manners whenever you receive something to say thank you, even though you didn't ask for it. You know what? Or if they aren't comfortable with whatever I'm doing, they can't handle it, they need to communicate with me. Avery, you're doing too much. I appreciate the thought that you've put in. I know you care about me, but you need to stop. Like either one of those two things. That's it. I've usually been the first person to reach out, the first person to make plans, and the only person to celebrate milestones and accomplishments and remember small, significant and insignificant details about other people, although I have eidetic memory and I know that's rare, so I don't expect other people to. In many cases felt like I'm the person who is pouring in more effort, and when I got my nails done, not this set, but the last set I had, my nail tech told me that she, with one of her friends, that she was always the provider friend. And that hit so hard and rang so true with me. I have a few more last minute, I'm moving away gifts to give to other people, but after that, I'm taking a break until the effort I've poured in is matched or until you start showing me the gratitude that I deserve. And once I move to California, don't expect any, oh my gosh, I miss you so much messages either. I'm done reaching out until you text me first for once. Liz was right. When you pour into other people too much or even more than you're pouring into yourself, God will punish you and your life will go downhill. I do not remember which video of hers this was in, but there's this one video where she was talking about how over the top that she would go for her other friends' birthdays, how excited she would be in planning and picking out the gifts and even buying things deemed expensive. But then when it came to her birthday, there's this one friend who last minute at the end of the day rushed over and dropped off a cake that was from the gas station. She said that she would have rather even have had $10 flowers from the grocery store, but their friendship to her, like in that friend's eyes, was worth a gas station cake. And that friend said, "Here, Liz, happy birthday, here's your cake." If they cared about you, you would know. And it's like that saying, if they wanted to, they would, because when I wanted to, I did. And that, facts. You questioning their loyalty and how much you mean to them is proof that they don't, at least to the extent that you hoped they would, because God is the author of clarity, not confusion, and the point that you even have to ask just goes to show that they don't value you the way that you hope that they would. Anything that is confusing is not from God. Nobody cares about you as much as you think they do. When you're pointing out or making a mental list of all the qualities that you admire and adore about that person, it may not actually be about that person. You're only recognizing those qualities in them because you have them in yourself. If you didn't possess those qualities, you wouldn't have the capability or the perception to distinguish those qualities. So in actuality, you don't love that person, You love the version of you that you see within them, but because you haven't learned how to love yourself, admire yourself, and put yourself on that pedestal, that's why you're giving all this love and time and energy into that other person, because you're not already doing it for yourself first. Not everybody can handle the way that you love. Once they suspect or believe that you're going to stick around no matter what kind of SHIT they put you through or how much you appreciate or respect them, they're going to take advantage of you because they know that you're still going to be there. So when you feel taken for granted, the best thing to do is to rescind your energy, which means to pull back and withdraw. And no matter how much it hurts, you need to start choosing yourself and pouring that energy that you were pouring into them into yourself. Also, when you feel taken for granted, take that sadness and that hurt that you're feeling and alchemize it into something else. And when you alchemize something, all you're doing is you're taking the energy that you've either received or that you're feeling and you transform it into something else through creation. Usually it is a work of art, or pouring whatever you're doing into an activity that can grow you for your benefit. My favorite ways to alchemize energy is when I'm sad, I songwrite. When I'm angry, I go for a run. And when I'm upset, which is a combination of both, I either plan or create content. Best pieces of art that were created, like masterpieces, they were inspired by whatever strong, negative, raw, deep emotions that were stirring within them, which is what provoked them to have this creative, energetic outflow into their work. When you alchemize something, whatever feelings you take and you pour into something else, once they're trapped into that item, activity, whatever, and they're stuck in there, which is why some of the most magnificent paintings, songs, and pieces of music and literature, that's why when you listen to them, read them, or view them, it's like you can feel those emotions because they are stuck within that work. You gotta start matching people's effort. I know that if I started matching people's effort, I wouldn't be in contact with like half the people, if not even more, than I am in contact with today. And I know that's such a tough pill to swallow, but it's up to you to decide if you would rather lose yourself for other people or lose them to choose yourself. That sacrifice is up to you to decide, and you have to choose whether their hurt is worth something bleeding yourself for. I recently, and by recently I mean late 2025, early 2026, I got back in contact with people that I went to high school with, and it's not only a few, it's several people that I went to high school with, because we had so many fun, fulfilling memories, and those were truly the best days of my life for sure. And I wanted to extend those, prolong that joy, and recreate those experiences with them. But what I found out is that almost all of those people have evolved and blossomed into other friendships. Two of them are some of the first viewers on my Instagram stories, yet they are not the best when it comes to getting back to their messages. One of them ghosted me randomly last year. I have no idea why. Removed me from their following list even, yet somehow still stalks my Snapchat stories. One of them moved to a different state, and the other one just kept leaving me on either delivered or open and blatantly lied to me. I'm a person who's not fond of change, at least when it comes to what I've expected from other people. I love patterns, and when anything breaks its pattern, that really catches me off guard. So it was disheartening and dismantling for sure. There was a part of me that wishes that I didn't at least try to get back in touch with them, because I don't want to taint the such fond, endearing memories I have with them with this modern sadness. I don't want that to stain it and ruin the beautiful experiences that we've had. But also yesterday I had super transcendental thoughts, and part of me wishes that I wish I either filmed the video yesterday or took notes, because I gained a whole new perspective. I can have those, and like you can too, I can have those memories with them and keep them detached from the people and experiences I have with them now. I can keep those as two separate entities, and I can still love them, but from a more distant place. I don't need to try to recreate those experiences. And that's something else too. You can't recreate the past. It will never live up to whatever you imagine it is or thought it was. And Joe Dispenza says that as long as you're living in the past, you can't create a new future. And that is so profound, yet so facts. I can treasure those memories we made while also recognizing and understanding that times have changed. Our times in our life, like our relationships with each other, we have evolved. We're becoming different people. We're on different pathways. And also our souls were meant to connect at that certain point, but that we've taught each other whatever we've needed to know. We've had those shared experiences that were predestined for us. So now it is time for our souls to separate, withdraw, pursue other connections, and go our separate ways. And as long as you try to prolong those connections, you're going to end up slipping, like having it slip through your hands or crushing it, because anything you hold too tightly, it is going to shatter within your grasp. Like if I had a glass ball, for example, that I was holding, if I was gently holding it, like there's detachment obviously, but I'm not allowing it to slip through my hands, it'll be okay. But if I were to try to like squish it in there so it doesn't fall out, then I might end up having that glass pop within my hands because I'm pressing on it too hard. So anything that you are still attaching yourself to that has outgrown itself, it is going to be crushed and it's going to remove itself from your life anyways, but it'll be more damaging than if you had naturally let it go. I also experienced the other side of the coin today, where somebody loves me more than I love them, and I don't care as much about them. Not saying that I don't care about them at all, but I don't care as much about them as apparently they care about me. So anything that I do that doesn't live up to their standards and wherever their love for me is at, they're going to feel hurt and disappointed because I'm not meeting them where they're at with me. So I really got to experience what that empathy was like and feel the grass on the other side, which helped me realize that just because I love those people, it doesn't mean that they're entitled to love me back or treasure me, cherish me the way that I treasure and cherish them. So I found that eye-opening as well, and it's made this video conflicting because yes, people should be polite and at least say thank you just as a gesture. It doesn't mean that they owe you love, friendship, or companionship, whatever, in return. Nobody owes you anything. It was your choice, and even though it may have hurt you, nobody told you to go above and beyond. So that's like the flip side of the coin. So take it as you will, adapt whatever perspective floats your boat, and know that there's always going to be people who you care about more than they care about you, and there's always going to be people who care about you more than you care about them, and you're both going to hurt each other, but you have to decide if those wounds are worth suffering for. And if it's worth for the person you thought you would take a bullet for to be the one behind the gun. Overall, though, I've come to the conclusion that there are a lot of people in my life who do not deserve me, and if they can't handle me, like that I'm too much for them, then they should go settle for less, because there is plenty of that to go around. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you either learned something or received the reassurance that you needed as the friend who is always giving too much or giving more than they're receiving. I hope you know, even though you have so much love to give, not everybody can receive it the same way that you can. Not everybody will appreciate it as a result. So pour into those who pour into you. I will have all of my socials linked in the description if you're interested in becoming closer friends, because I appreciate you, I love you, I care about you. I say that to my Snap family every night, and I'm also glad that I filmed this video a couple weeks after experiencing those experiences that really rocked my boat and caused me to question if I'm even valuable in that person in people's lives, because I have more of a peace and clarity. Like, I'm more high vibrational for sure. If I had filmed it immediately after those things happened, I would be so angry and I would say a bunch of things that I would likely regret. I don't want to burn bridges. So with that said, I love you so much. Jesus loves you more, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.